Hello, my name is Sharon. My business name is Shay Renee Collections. Today I'm going to show you how I am going to embroider the word pray across this sweatshirt, which is going to be color on color, but it's not going to be black. But I had to test this out. I always like to test out my designs before I stitch them out, just to see how it'll work before I actually stitch it out on the garment. But we're going to stitch this one on this crew neck, beautiful blue shirt, and it's going to be tone on tone. And I'm going to use this glitter vinyl. I already have it set to go. So what I'm going to be doing is on the stabilizer, because it comes in this big roll. And sometimes what I would normally do is cut a sheet, and then I'll be wasting a lot of material. So I want to do is try to cut it in half just to fit. It's like a silicone mat here that I use. It helps keep my hoop from sliding all across the table. Now this shirt is already have a seam going down the middle when I received the shirt. This is a gilded heavy blend with a cozy feel inside. So it already has a seam down the middle. Sometimes when you don't have that seam down the middle, I will take it and I will put it on the heat press just to crease it in front, just to get that center line. But this shirt came that way with the center line already there, so I don't have to do that. It kind of has a mark middle. It's a mark right here in the center. Work on my hoop here. Kind of lets me know that this is the middle of the hoop, the center of it. So what I like to do is make sure my shirt is smoothed out, and I bring my hoop. I hoop the collar. I hoop mine with the collar up a little above the collar right here, like so. Sure that the hoop is right here, and that this mat also kind of helps me to find my center. Okay, seam to seam, make sure, and I keep pushing that hoop to make sure I got it centered. And I like to have my collar right here inside of this hoop. So what I'm gonna do now is take my stabilizer and I'm gonna place it inside the shirt. What I do when I don't have a way, to just know where my center is, I'll print out the design. And my design, when I print it out, it's gonna have the registration marks to let me know where my center is. Here, my center, and these are lets me know. So what I do is I will place this on my shirt, and I always do like three to 4 fingers down from the edge of this collar, 3 to 4. So I normally do 4, and I make sure I got it from my center point here in the center. You see where the crease is on the shirt? I make sure it's center right there on that crease, and I do 4 fingers down and I move it here. Okay, so and that helps you. And then what I do is I take a pin and make sure it's straight, and I pin it. What I'm doing now is making sure that this inner facing is right up under the design. A little time, but I think if you was to have one of those hooping stations with the magic hoop, it would take a whole lot less time. But right now I don't have that, so I'm working with what I have. I'm making sure that stabilizer is up under this design. So again, I'm taking my hands here, my fingers, and I've got my fingers here, and I'm just pushing that hoop, making sure I got it centered with my fingers. You see the the seam of the shirt here with armholes. And here I'm having my fingers, and I'm looking, and I'm saying, okay, I got 3 fingers right here in the seam, so I'm kind of pushing that hoop with my thumbs. I'm pushing it here, making sure it's straight all the way, just making sure. And I got in the center line of the shirt. It's gonna help you making sure you got it lined. And the little mark of your hoop. That's why I like to bring the hoop up where you can see it in the collar, at the collar. Okay. Now I got it 4 fingers down from the center, and I'll follow my registration marks here. Making sure that's straight. So my hoop here got middle registrations mark right there. Let me know where my center is. So I'm going to center this hoop on the crease of this shirt to make sure it's centered. And what I'm doing is I'm pressing down to trying to get this hoop in, which sometimes can be a pain. That's why I said, oh, imagine hoop would be so much easier. This thing here sometimes want to give me fits. Just getting in here. Okay, I got the shirt in here. It's my center mark of the hoop is lined up with the center mark of the shirt, and the center mark of the design is in the center. Everything is in the center of the hoop, the registration mark on your design, and the center mark all the way up here to the top of the hoop. So I'm going to be using this glitter vinyl. So what you do is you peel this, the sheet that's over the vinyl, you peel it off. So see what I'm doing is just peeling this away from the clear top, the clear vinyl. Peeling this away. Be sure you peel this away. Keep this. I'm going to show you why. Don't toss it. I'm going to show you why at the end. So hold on to this. We'll make sure that it covers our design. Okay, here's my shirt. Everything ready to go onto the machine here. You see, this is the arm of my machine. Check and make sure your bobbin, you have enough bobbin, because you don't want to run out of bobbin. Make sure everything is cleaned out there. This is how much bobbin I have in here. Just to be on the safe side, I'll take it out and save it. A box of bobbins here that I use. I have black and I have the white. I think I may use the black. I'm gonna use a black bobbin. And these are magnetic bobbins that goes with this machine, which is by, here it is. It's by Failtech. And my machines use the L size. And it's a magnetic line bobbin. Take your bobbin. And this is your case. And you're gonna feel the magnet pull it. It snaps in there because the magnet gonna grab hold. Then to make sure I take it through, making sure I pull it through. This is the whole pigtail right here, and I make sure this thread is wrapped around that pigtail, like so. Okay. And then I'm gonna take it, and I'm just gonna snap it in here. What I do, this is my shirt. This is my hand coming out of the neck of the shirt. So when I want to put it on the machine, I'm making sure that this part of the arm is inside of the neck of that shirt. Because if you don't double check that, what can happen is you can just put this on the machine and start stitching, and the back of your shirt is caught up in that, and then you don't sew stitch the back of the shirt. to the front of this design. And trust me, you don't want that to happen because you don't ruin the whole shirt, the whole design, and there's nothing you can do about it but toss the shirt. So you don't want that to happen. So I always stick my arm up under here, making sure I got a fill in the arm. And I'm going ahead and placing this in here. Make sure it's snapped in place. And I'm double checking again to make sure that arm, see, here it is, if you can see. I'm going up on here and my arm is right up under here, the arm of the machine. I'm making sure that shirt is clear. It's not hitting the front of that design. Okay. Now we got our design in. Hoop. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to trace it. I'm tracing the design. What I'm trying to do is line up my center registration mark of this design. I'm lining it up. So see, this is my center registration mark. This is my needle number 1. So this is what I'm doing to find my center. Making sure needle number 1 is hitting the center of this design. So what I got to do here is I got to move this machine up. You see how I'm moving it up? I'm moving it up to get that needle number 1 lined up to the center. And to check that, I just bring this down to see. It's almost there, not quite. A little more. Okay, that's centered. So that needle is hitting the middle of the eye like bullseye. A bullseye hit. So after you don't got it lined up, you can run a trace again to be sure. Just run another trace. And you also, when you run your trace, you want to make sure your hoop is not hitting anything on the side or anything at the top. And I double check. Bullseye. Okay, after I've done that, I remove the design where my thread is. So I'm hitting my thread. What the design gonna do is gonna stitch out the outline first, and then it's gonna stop. And then that's when I can place my vinyl on the top. And then it's gonna stitch out around the design again, and then it's gonna start with the satin stitch. So what I may want to do is do, for the placement of my design so you can be able to see it, I'm going to do black. I'm going to do black, black, and then my blue, which is needle number 6. Everything is set, ready to go and stitch. So hold on. First stitch is going to be the black. Okay, it just finished printing the outline. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm laying my vinyl down over the design, making sure it covers top to bottom and the sides. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead on and proceed on with the second stitch. Okay, just finished printing. Normally, sometimes what I used to, you could do is kind of cut around that design, cut all this away. But in this case, you're not going to have to do that. If this was fabric, you was doing this with fabric, yes. At this point, you would take the hoop off the machine, get you some scissors and cut around here, all of this out. But since this is vinyl, we don't have to do that. So what we're going to do is going to go ahead on and start with the satin stitches. Now it has finally finished stitching. I'm going to remove it from the computer. You see the vinyl here. So what we're going to do is, at this point, like I like to have like a little tweezers. I love these tweezers, like a fine point tip on it. So what we're going to do, all you got to do here, since this is vinyl, all we got to do is just rip it off. Just like so. This is so satisfying. Because I don't have to cut. See how easy it is? Some to your finer points, you just take your tweezers and you just come in here. Ooh, be careful. And just take those out like so. What I like to do is I like to take a real good look at the design. Make sure, like right here, you see, I have some loose threads here. You just want to look at and just check your stitches out. Seeing what you have, you may have to go in and fix. Okay? So I like to go over here and make sure I get these little stitches. I just take the scissors and cut. Just take time to look over the design because you don't want to send something out with threads coming out everywhere. Just make sure everything is clean. And I'll just go over and just double check all my stitches, make sure all the stitches looking good. Now, one thing I want to share with you, sometimes you may have a stitch that may be like, you might have a little loop or stitches maybe, I don't have too many here at all, but sometimes you may have something that's, okay, that look a little loose. You can get this is like for knits. It's for knits. It has like a little rough end to it. And then this is a sharp needle point. And it has a rough end. You use it for knits if you got snags. You can use this for embroidery. You can just take this. And so if you got a stitch that's kind of looped out of the way, just take it and put it in here where the stitch is loose or whatever. And you can just pull this through. And it'll pull that thread back through and tighten it up for you. See, it just pull it, make it tighter. If you have that situation, get you one of these things here. And if you got one of the stitches that's like right here on this A, I don't know if you can see it or not. but I have a little stitch. This is a kind of a little loose there for me. I don't too much light. So what I'm gonna do is I'm taking this, putting it right there where that stitch is loose, and I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna pull it. And see that, tighten that stitch right up. You can see. You can barely tell it. So now I'm finished. I'm gonna go to my back. And we're gonna, you see all your stitches here, kind of stitches here. To be quick, fast, and a hurry, I take a lighter and I just singe those loose threads back there in the back to clean it up. Okay. And we at the heat press. I got to set on 325, but you just need to do it for like 20 seconds, 30 seconds. And then we're just going to press it down. Hold it for about 20 or 30 seconds. I always like, when I finish an embroidery design, I always like to take it and put it on the heat press. When you do that, it set the stitches and it gives it, to me, my opinion, it gives it a very quality, clean look. Okay. Then we just remove this. Voila. Look how beautiful that is, y'all. Look how beautiful this is. Now, if you want to go back over, you can take one of your Teflon sheets. Just do it for another 20 to 10 seconds. Look how pretty that is. That is absolutely beautiful. Here is the finished design. It is beautiful. I love it. And I will be adding this one to my website.